Gestalt therapy is experientially based. In other words, it is not about interpretation, it's about experimentation. So when I try to get a person to do something or think in a certain way, I do it in a way that's playful, because the playfulness offers support and freedom and creativity. And this is really what Gestalt is all about. It's about creativity and experimentation. I just add the word playfulness and humor because the humor is more of a confirmation. It's more of a place saying, I'm okay, and I'm allowed to make mistakes, and I'm allowed to laugh at myself, and not to take myself seriously. I take a quote from a man by the name of George Carlin, and this is how I really see therapy and life in general, especially Gestalt. Anybody who sees life as anything other than pure entertainment is missing the point. So in the therapy, I try to make it as entertaining and as interesting as possible, allowing the group or the person to experiment and play and feel safe, that nobody's going to criticize, and so that they can actually stop thinking and stop being logical and allowing themselves to be guided by their own inner child. The inner child part of us is the health, the joy, the flourishing, the happiness. In us there are two children. One is the childlike, and the other is the childish. The childish is the one that goes to therapy, because the childish is the manipulator, wants to get what it wants to get without asking for it directly, but to manipulate to get it, to become a victim, and to use that victimhood as a control over the environment. The child, which is the childlike, not the childish, the childlike is the one that can see an ant and find it fascinating and put his hand under and watch the ant crawl and see that life is a miracle. Seeing every moment is a miracle. Living life, every moment is a miracle. And seeing where you can find the joy and entertainment. Now, this is something that can be taught to people, because people have it already when they're born. It is taken away from us by society, because society, schools, governments have to control you. And if you're playful or creative, you can't be controlled. That's why the first things that a dictator does is kill the comics, because the comics tell the truth and they make you laugh. So to teach people what their original purpose of being in this world is for. It's not teaching them, it's actually reminding them why you came into this world. You came into this world for pure joy and to flourish. the powers that try to control you, whether it be your parents or school or this government, tell you what you need to do. The government, let's say a capitalistic government, tells you that what you need to buy, and that gets you addicted to whatever it gets you addicted to. So that you go out and buy another one and buy another one. The parents are also telling the children what path they should follow, because they want to be able to say, my son, my daughter is very successful. And so that people begin to live not for the family or for themselves, but what will people think. And to get a person back on the path of their true nature, which is to just live and enjoy and to find fulfillment in just being and not doing, which is what I loved about Gestalt in the first place. Gestalt is being, and it is a constant being in progress. It is a process-based therapy, not a content. You don't listen to the words. You watch and feel the process. This is playful. This is humor, in a way, because you're listening to a person, but the words mean nothing. But the voice, when they're talking, and you say, you know, I noticed that you're talking like a little child. Have you noticed? No, I didn't notice. So you bring the person back to their awareness of what they're doing, forcing them to make a decision. Do I want to remain that, or can we experiment now with that voice that was once like this and said, please stop? To say, stop! You will stop now. No, please stop. You know, to experiment with that, which is very scary, because you're getting a person to out of their comfort zone. They've learned at a very early age how to be manipulated, and then you're asking them to come to the extreme and get out and become who they really are. So I think I gave today some indication that, number one, the confirmation, meeting a person where they are, not coming to a session and saying this is going to be humorous, but knowing that humor is a possibility. It doesn't have to be. Some of my sessions are very painful. Some of my sessions end up with a lot of anger and a lot of outrage. It's not all humor. But when I come to a session, whether it be with a group or a person, I just know that humor is in the background. Something else right now is in the foreground. Perhaps humor will become foreground. It doesn't have to. Once I used to do this. I used to push for the humor, very bad, because you can't push reality. You can't push what is. And Gestalt therapy is all about what is. What do you do with the what is? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you want something else? And so by accepting the what is and just saying humor and laughter and playfulness is a possibility here. I can use it, I can do it. And then trying to give people that permission to go back and being playful and childlike again, which I know that I have it. I know that when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is thank God. You know, I got another day. How am I? You know, I go to the mirror and what do I see? And the first thing I do is smile. And when I get on an elevator and I'm, by myself and there's a mirror, I will smile. Because I have to see myself with a smile to know that I'm going to face life with a smile. And with my wife, I do the same thing. She says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm smiling to that very handsome guy in the mirror." And she said, "Oh my God, are you a narcissist?" And there's a certain amount of narcissism in this, but the narcissism comes from not being able to detach from that need to be that gorgeous thing in the mirror. The actual knowing that you're 78 years old, you're not a sexual symbol anymore, but there's a you can lie to yourself, and just somehow stop looking at this and look at other things, and know that when you do smile and you say thank you for another day, and you have what is called the attitude of gratitude. You see, the Freudian model was get the person to stop suffering and just live a life of quiet desperation. And the Gestalt model, for me, is go beyond that and go to a flourishing life. Go to a life where you flourish, where you flower, where you always have another mission. I mean, at 78 years old, to come to Moscow it's a flowering experience. Meeting new people, laughing, having a good time. So having this attitude of gratitude, having a part of you that practices positive self-thought, because a lot of the depression, sadness, anger comes from negative self-talk. It's how we talk to ourselves. And when you can become aware and catch yourself doing that and say, is this thought advancing me in any way, or is this thought making me sick? Think about what this thought is doing, because every thought gives you a feeling. And if you're in touch with that feeling, you know, this thought is making me angry, this thought is making me sick. I choose to stop it. I choose to stop it, and I have to choose another thought in its place, a good thought. And I find myself many, many times, I'm riding my bicycle, and Lenny, what are you doing? You're not in the here and now. You've got a beautiful beach. You've got all this around you, and your mind is stuck somewhere in a place of yesterday or 2 days ago, what somebody said or what somebody did, or even 3 years ago or 20 years ago. You've got the here and now. There's a wave coming in. Can you watch that wave come in? Anything to get you into the here and now, which is all Gestalt. That's what I love so much about Gestalt. And it's a constant battle with your own self, because your mind takes you to negativity, because that's the way we were brought up. Even at this age, I'm constantly fighting. Lenny, is that thought advancing you, or is that thought hurting you? What do you choose? Okay, I choose to watch those surfers coming in now. Here and now. Stay in the here and now. Because truly, the happiness, true joy, is only in the here and now. Being anywhere else is suffering. Falling in love with what is happening right now is true joy. Wanting anything different than what is going on right now, anything different, is suffering. So in the workshops, I many times train people to go back to that moment where you're 6 months old. There are no thoughts. There are just. And then I might get hungry and cry, or making my diapers and cry, but then there's this total amazement with the world, you know, and go back to that original place. Anything else? Is that all? Enough? Yes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes? We'll be right back after this word from our sponsor. No, just... I have 2 minutes. So I'm going to talk to you in gibberish for 2 minutes and see if you can understand me. Because now I'm going to say something very, very serious. And this is the most important thing you could ever hear in your life. So pay close attention. Jabu gandanda gu gramba tu kuzike branke te kujo tu mamo. And never forget, Chimamba grus prada vayush reverendo and I'd like to end by saying, Arrivederci.
It's wonderful.